Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and we've got this week's pre-orders live. Just going to take a quick look and see what we got going on here. So starting off with our chaos. Oh, before we do get rolling though, if you have not already subscribed, make sure to do so. We do daily videos every single day, reactions, reviews, news, painting, modeling, conversion, tutorials, all kinds of cool hobby stuff. So check out those playlists. We have the Exalted Champion coming back in plastic. $32 for this guy. Cool model. Definitely looks nice and fits with the existing range. He was one of like the first kind of sort of sized up chaos models. Then we've got some old school sorcerers with the force sword and force axe. All $32 on these guys. And then the old one with the plasma pistol. Some cool old sculpts offered for a limited time. Then we got some Skaven as well. Thankwell and Bone Ripper. Nice models. Definitely undersized compared to the current rat ogres. We had the OG Vermin Lord. This was a really cool model back in the day, but again, this thing is tiny compared to the new Vermin Lord. The new Vermin Lord model is amazing, or newer one. Then we've got Queek Head Taker, Ikit Claw, Deathmaster Snitch, and the Plague Lord Nurglitch. So you could basically just run these as your characters if you were playing in the existing line if you wanted to, or just collect, paint, display, etc. Cool old stuff, nice and nostalgic. Then we've got Helbrecht, Knight of the Throne, limited edition, signed and numbered. You know these are going to be selling out. $65 a piece for these. If you're a Black Templar fan, obviously you're going to want that. And that's pretty much it. After that, it's just obviously the new contrast paints and all of the washes going live, or shades I should say. So not a ton here this week. Obviously the paints were on a 2-week pre-order period as well. So that is definitely a quick little break. And then we've got upcoming tomorrow, we have essentially the skirmish game reveal. So that's going to have stuff for warcry. It's going to have kill team. And then obviously like some of the smaller games as well. Blood Bowl, Necromunda. We don't know exactly what's coming for that. That's going to be exciting. So lots of cool stuff coming up. Kill team, we'll find out what the next box is hopefully. Or at least one of the teams. Sticking with what Games Workshop's been doing lately. They'll probably just show us one of the teams right now from the new kill team box. And then another coming up. Necromunda, I'm not sure exactly what's going to come down the line. I really hope that we start seeing just immediately like vehicles for each of the different gangs. That would be pretty awesome. So metal miniature. Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check on this. Somebody had asked, and I just presumed that they would come back in metal. And it does say here for sure that the sorcerer is metal. So they are just going to be basically the same models you could get before, just offered for one final time. So pretty cool overall. Pretty cool. And then we talked about quite a bit about the contrast paints and shades and everything. And I'm definitely going to have the new line of contrast paints, try those out and give them a legit shot. It's going to be, some of them are really bright. Actually, a lot of them are really bright, and they tend to be a little less useful overall. I think you're going to use these to like accent your existing line and kind of fill the gaps on a couple things. But I'm not sure that they're going to be nearly as useful as the original contrast paints. And we'll see about that, obviously. I was thinking about how these contrast paints work, though. And some of the ones that have like a real nice coating, like less contrasty and just a little bit more of a nice one coat type thing. Like the yellow, and it looked like the red maybe from this range. And some of the other ones were as well. The burgundy. I don't think that's necessarily going to be a bad thing. There's already a couple of the existing contrast paints that are like that, including but not limited to like the Black Templar. Doesn't do a ton of contrasty effect. It's very minimal, but it's still one of my favorite contrast paints. So I'm not ready to like rule out some of these, to tell you the truth. And there's a couple of them that look really good. Like this Gargak Sewer looks awesome. Definitely a few other ones that are really standing out. I haven't been able to get a clear picture what the difference is from the Black Legion or description from anyone yet. So it's very strange, and sometimes it's hard to tell in like the photography or even like YouTube videos. But I really need to see and use Black Templar Black Legion right next to Black Templar, so I can really tell what the difference is, because I can't tell which one's more glossy, which one's more flat, which one's darker, etc. If one of them is sort of like warm and the other one is cool, and that's how they're different, it's very hard to tell. So looking forward to getting my hands on that one, obviously. So I think pretty limited on pre-orders for this week. I think at this point in time, it's more like just kind of hold your breath for tomorrow, so we can speculate a little bit and see what's coming down the line. I am really excited for what's coming for Necromunda. That's definitely one of the big ones for me. I really hope that they start doing right away just like different gang sets, because I think that's going to make the game more like fun for everybody. If essentially like all of a sudden everybody gets their gang vehicles like sort of coming out, and it doesn't take like 2 years for everybody to get like at least one vehicle essentially. But pretty excited for that. Not sure what exactly is going to happen with it. We just got the book with the squats and the full rules for the nomads, and then also the initial like vehicle rules for everybody. So I think the next logical step is to just start adding in vehicles for everyone. So I don't know if they'll have to basically just do 3 gangs per book or something like that, and then essentially do a few different books with those rules in them. I'm not sure exactly how they'll do it. Probably something down the line. And it looked like there was quite a few books in that preview line when we saw like the kind of roadmap for Necromunda. So I would imagine that is probably the next logical step, is to have another book coming out, and that has like a few gangs, something similar to this, 3 gangs worth of stuff in it or whatever, and then specific rules for a faction specific vehicle for each of those gangs, possibly 2. That would be cool, but we'll have to see from there. There's obviously a lot of vehicles you can use from like the 40k existing line to kind of do that. So I think this is pretty exciting. We know already there's at least one more thing that we've been previewed that hasn't come out. We saw like that mining kind of exosuit, or like whatever you want to call it, battle suit for the squats, and that is obviously not out yet. So there's a good possibility that that will be one of the things that is basically shown off, or at least in the next series of releases. Obviously the land train has been pretty well received overall, I think, and people loving the new models. Definitely seen some cool conversions for the Ash Waste Nomads. We know there's the 2 new Forge World vehicles also. It's like the character caster and then the character 4-wheeler. So I think what they probably do is the 3rd vehicle set coming out, basically 1 for each faction so far, and then the squat one would be next. And then I think they're just going to go through and basically do 3 of them, and then they'll have basically a vehicle for each, 3 of them, and then have a vehicle for each, and then essentially maybe there's rat skins are coming, or scavies, and then we have 3 again, and then a vehicle for each, and then with each of those releases a book as well. So that's my speculation. That's what I basically think is coming down the line. Necromunda obviously loves the books, so obviously tons and tons of books for Necromunda. Seems like that would be the likely way they would go, and when we did see that roadmap, it seemed like that was on there. So I've been speculating quite a bit also on what's coming for Kill Team. They definitely had a ton of Space Hulk references in that. I'm not sure that we're going to see Gene Stealers versus Terminators, but definitely there's a high possibility that it's Tyranids, some kind of bespoke team for them. Maybe just an upgrade sprue for like Gene Stealers or something like that. That would be pretty cool. Or else also the squats. That was the first setting we saw them shown off in. So it makes sense that that's just part of kind of like that same trailer setup. So realistically, I think likely we see Votann or squats in Kill Team or Tyranids. And then after that, I think my next guess is probably like the Casterkins, Cadians, either some sort of like mixed team, the bespoke version of like Guard out of the book, possibly something a little more elites, similar to like the Vet Guard, although that seems a little bit redundant, or else possibly a mixed team where you have like a Casterkin bodyguard with either like a rogue trader or inquisitor or something like that, and that's like your inquisition team. That would be pretty cool. Not sure that's likely to happen. And then obviously we speculated a little bit that they would bring back Star Striders or the Gellerpox and or that would be pretty cool regardless. I hope they do that. Those models are awesome, and then obviously it would be really cool to have rules for them. But I think terrain wise, it's most likely that we're going to get the old school kind of like boring spaceship indoor terrain. But I think it would be much cooler if they did the zone mortalis stuff and you could build like a legit inside of a spaceship with like a zone mortalis 3D like plastic board from the previous iteration of Necromunda. So we'll see what happens. Definitely looking forward to what comes. Obviously the skirmish games are what I mostly play and what I enjoy the most, so I'm super excited. So tune in live tomorrow obviously for that. And then, we'll do some kind of recaps for the different games and what they show off and what's coming. And obviously, you'll get my opinion on everything. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe, comment, etc. Always helps out the channel. If you're into these type of videos, daily reactions, reviews, and news, or make sure to check out the playlist with all kinds of painting, modeling, and conversion tutorials, magnetization, and then obviously lots and lots of commissions that we show off as they leave the studio. But that's it for today, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.